hold me back.
This is Influencing the Right Way. Our goal is to raise the standard of the fitness industry. We're out here trying to make people's lives as healthy and as happy as we possibly can. And the only way we're going to do that is if we take it as serious as a medical doctor does. We are back again. It is Influencing the Right Way with the Viking. And as always, I have with me
Sarah freaking Sloan.
All right, so let's get into today's. It's timely. It's going to be important. Everybody is going to be like, oh shit, it's the doomsday. We're going to talk about the recession and how it affects you and your industry.
Yes. We're setting up for high expectations.
High expectations.
We got to go up from here.
So, hey, this podcast, I want you to be a part of our mission. I'm not doing this to make money. I don't get money off of having fans or people watching this or something. I don't put any ads or anything in it. Genuinely, this is my mission to raise the standard of the fitness industry. I would love for you to be a part of it. I want you to be the person who raises the standard. So let's jump into it. The economy. So how this works is...
The end.
So we all know that right now we are headed into a recession, if not already in it right now. Mm-hmm. Now, I am not one of those people that want to get down and lay blame and talk about who caused it, get into the politics of it, because honestly, and I like to say this, it doesn't fucking matter. The reason it doesn't matter is because no matter what, we have been having up cycles and down cycles as a part of this economic engine since the day it began. Yeah. So if you know that it's coming and you know that it's going, what is the best thing for you to do? Prepare for it.
Exactly.
So we've actually got a handful of things that I think are wildly helpful if you run a business and you know that we are now walking into an economic recession.
Yeah.
So let me actually first state that where I get a lot of this from is my own personal experience of having owned a retail business during COVID and came out of it more successful than we were going in. Now, that's not like to gloat or anything. It actually was fucking super hard, very stressful. The little bit of gray hair that I have.
I was just going to say, that's where your gray hair came from.
But honestly, I swear to God, I, before COVID, had all colored brown hair, and then right afterwards, right in this middle spot,
you got a few coming in.
It's not even a few. It's like a good amount now. And I'm going to give you some personal anecdote. This is not just to tell a boohoo story. It's just literally exactly what happened to me. Mm-hmm. My father and I were very close. We have been close my entire life. I've been in the fitness business. I own retail stores. And at the exact same time, so January of 2020 was right when hey, there's this COVID thing. What's going on? I was actually opening up my second location. Mm-hmm. It was not even open as that happened in January. Then it was actually at the exact same time, so the COVID thing kind of started going around. My dad was 83, and he went into the hospital. He'd gotten very sick with some overgrown, liquid around his heart. So he had some myocarditis, I believe is the correct term. And I was kind of dealing with both, but they had both just started. I knew my dad was sick and not doing well. He was a lot older. And then at the same time, they were talking about this COVID thing, but I really didn't know what it meant. Then, fast forward, we had actually the next month in February, I had got to spend some real close, good quality time with my dad. And we opened up the second location. Mm-hmm. So our second business was open. Then in March, I remember it was the second week of March, everything got shut down. So when I say everything, we were not allowed to be in the stores. It was all the gyms were closed down. Yeah. I mean, you guys know, you all lived through it. Yeah. Schools, everything was shut down. So
I was on spring break in my last year of college, and they were like, don't come back.
You were really?
Yeah, I was on spring break thinking I was going to go back. And
where were you at spring break at?
ASU.
Oh, but I mean, but you were just at home.
I was,
oh, got it.
We went on spring break thinking we were going to come back, and then all of a sudden we never went back after that. So, bye.
So, yeah, I mean, you guys all know what it was like. And so also, imagine being a business owner. I actually, what's funny is, did strangely fall into an exception as a, what were they called? It's like a business that could stay open during COVID or whatever.
Oh, an essential
Yeah,
business?
essential business. Which basically meant like we weren't really big. We weren't like a dining place, or we weren't a gym or something. So there was actually, I forget what the rule was, but it was
10, less than 10 people.
yeah, less than 10 people in some amount of square footage. So we could be open. We just had to have masks on and stuff like that. So, but nobody was going into retail stores. So we went from, X dollar volume to 1/10 that. I mean, we were destroyed by 90%.
Plus another store.
Oh yeah. Plus we had just opened up the second store. So it didn't even have like customers already
You were
come
already
to it.
net zero.
Yeah. We were literally at zero. So then we were just going negative, negative, negative.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, like I said, at that exact same time in March, my dad got very sick with like actual illnesses. So you get a little older, you're in a hospital for a little bit, pneumonia kind of starts happening. And he really started like, going around, what do they call it? Going around the toilet bowl? Circling the bowl?
Visually, that's probably it.
Like, circling the bowl. So, anyway, let's cut to the crux of this. What ended up happening was by June, the retail stores were still, we had no customers. Like COVID had still shut everything down. Mm-hmm. We had no way of staying open. I had employees I had to pay, and my dad died. So I'm just kind of like,
Gray hair central.
yeah. I mean, I literally had no idea what to do. So I remember in that moment thinking like, okay, I have to pull out the Hail Mary, right? Which just meant I am going to read, research, look into every single thing that I can do. And I'm literally going to do all of them. This was actually the changing period. So we made a podcast earlier about how we used to hire incorrectly and like mistakes that I had made. It's not that I don't make mistakes now, but I learned the very simple principles that I still practice now, right? That got us moving in the forward direction. During that time that COVID happened, and also this happening now with the recession happening, it's not just me that was feeling this pressure. And at that time, I felt like it was just me. I was like, oh, I'm a retail store. And I sell supplements, and gyms are closed. Nobody's buying any supplements even online because they're not going to the gym.
Yeah.
My dad died, right? I was like, I'm in hell and it's all me. Well, the reality is that's not true. Everybody's going through the same thing. Mm-hmm. But that actually is something that should give you strength, right? It's not just you going through it. Everybody feels the same pain. Everybody has the same worries and has those sleepless nights because you don't have enough money in your account to pay your team.
Yeah.
So where can you go from there? Just simply acknowledging and learning that everybody's going through the same thing. There's a couple of insights that I did have at that exact time. When I really sat and thought about it, and I actually I hired a business coach. Mm-hmm. With no money, I hired a business coach. And what I learned was this was actually my opportunity. So there were a ton of other small retail supplement stores out and around in the valley, but they did not have the grit to make it through. So I'm not like talking shit, I'm not being mean, but the end result was they did a lot of, I would say 40%, maybe more of the supplement stores out here around us went out of business, right? They couldn't keep their doors open. So because I bit down hard and I just worked through the grit of it and made it out to the other side, I then, when the playing field got back open, I had first skills and abilities that not many other people had because I learned them through that hard work and grit.
You were forced to.
Or
you could have gave up, but still.
Yeah.
Either way.
But I decided I wasn't going to give up, so I had to learn those things.
Exactly.
Then secondly, when people started going into retail stores and buying again, they had half the amount of options they had before. I was now a very large presence in the market. So now I could take those skills that I had learned during that tough time and apply it to all of these new customers that I was now meeting.
Yeah. It's less saturated, so you were able to touch more people.
Exactly. And so for you going into this recession, to be able to think about like, hey, this is tough and it is going to be very tough, but it's going to be tough for everybody. And this is the time that I can learn, and we're going to go into this specific one,
Yeah.
about a differentiator, about the thing that makes you different from everybody else. Sarah, why don't you give me a little bit about like a differentiator as an organization?
Yeah, this would be if you had two places that sold the same exact thing, why would you choose one over the other?
Exactly.
Very short, very simple.
You are way better at explaining things in a really quick way. I'm over here like 5 minutes just to get out one sentence. So, the differentiator is from the customer's perspective, right? In their world, and remember, we all have different realities.
Yeah.
In their reality, this product speaks to them. So imagine, and we can make like kind of like silly examples, but like Walmart and Target. Now, when you first think about it, those are two very different companies. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it's just a warehouse with a bunch of shit in it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They're the same thing. They market the same way. They talk the same way. Actually, when you go to the back of a Walmart or Target, it's still a PS5. It's the same product sitting on the shelf at both of those stores. Mm-hmm. But all of the things that they do and how they go about and conduct their business are different.
They speak to different people.
Absolutely. Walmart is the value place. I know I'm going to get my turkey meat there as cheap as possible.
Yeah. Which, quick little note, have you looked up the website, The People of Walmart?
Yes, it's the greatest thing ever.
That's all. Keep going.
That's all I need to say. As we're Target, they're talking about their artisanal pillows that they have and the seasonal things that they do.
And you talked about they're family oriented. They
Very
advertise to the dad, the mom, the child, like everyone separately, but as a family.
And when they do that, they're getting a different customer base. You know, the person who goes to Target, everybody knows the joke. You go in there to get one thing, you leave with 10 things.
Yeah.
Right? That's built and designed, and you kind of feel good about when you leave because they're things that are a little higher quality, they're a little more expensive, and it's kind of fun to be in there.
They make you feel good.
Exactly. Yeah. When you're in Walmart, you just like want to get out. Yeah. But there are times that you want to go to Walmart.
Get essential stuff.
Exactly.
More. Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about differentiators. If you are a personal trainer in a bad economy and you just are a normal personal trainer, you just do personal training, that's it. Well, when times are good, when the economy is good, people have extra money and they will spend that money with you even if it's not something they have to have. Mm-hmm. They're kind of just throwing around money. So this is what happens. In a good economy, a bad trainer can make it through. Mm-hmm. Economy goes down, guess who goes out first? The bad trainer.
Yeah.
Right? Now,
people have less disposable income. So if they're not like glued to a specific trainer, they don't see that as essential anymore, and that's going to be one of the first things they take off of their finances.
Absolutely. And so this hits to my point about why a differentiator is so important is if we already stated that in an economy, when there's a recession, right, and everything's going down, why is it that the not good trainer goes out of business and the good trainer stays in business, right? Well, the person who is a quote unquote good trainer, right? What they've done is they've got their clients that are only going to come to them. So whether or not the economy is good or bad, the pool of people that they're competing against is always small. Mm-hmm. Always. There may only be one other person that does exactly what this one trainer does. They do powerlifting, right? And they excel exceptionally well in squat training, right? Mm-hmm. There may be only one other person that does that. So for all of the customers in all of the U.S. who want that one specific thing, they're the person to go to. But then when it's a bad economy for the person who, is just doing whatever style of training, well, there's still 100 other trainers doing what they do, but there's way less people looking to buy personal training.
Yeah.
So we can see again why the differentiator is so, so important. Mm-hmm. Now, the last thing that I kind of want to hit on, and this is where, like, if you're already a business, this can be so helpful to what you're doing. If you know it's going to be a struggle, if you have found your differentiator, you know what sets you apart. And so even when the recession hits and you're making less money, you're still able to thrive. You're still able to keep your doors open. Mm-hmm. This is the time for you to put gas on the fire.
Throw it on there.
Throw it all on there. But this is why. in a bad economy, other people are losing jobs. So now it's going to be easier for you to find people that want to come and work for you. And you're going to have to take this time that, no, I'm not going to make a ton of money because what I'm doing is I'm investing.
Yeah.
Imagine like in the stock market, the economy goes down, the stock market tanks. That's the time to buy when it's low. Now, you're not going to make money that day. You're going to have to wait months, years before that really returns to where you're making money, but it will get there. But now is the time, even in your business, it's the time to invest, because now you can get employees. If you have a differentiator, you can teach them how to do your thing, and you can grow even more as soon as the economy gets good again.
Yeah, it's thinking more long term. It's not about like those short-term profits you might see right then. It's like sacrificing a little bit, because if you invest in someone's education or training them, then when the economy does pick back up,
you're good to go.
You're good to go. Like you said, you hired a business coach.
Absolutely.
During that time. You invested into your business even though you didn't have the monies maybe.
And really, it's the business, but it's investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Right? The best ROI you're ever going to get is investing money in yourself, as long as you want to work and you want to grow. All right. That was the podcast, guys. Thank you for listening. If you feel the same about wanting to raise the standard of the fitness industry, you got something out of this whole economic talk that we had just now, give this to somebody else. We want them to find a differentiator. We want them to grow. We want them to help more people out. And you should be the person that led them in the right direction. All right. Thank you, guys. We will see you next time.